evening, good evening. Welcome to Real Talk Live with Barry and Arnette. And I am Arnette, and if you don't see Barry, just blame it on me. Okay, we're going to miss my partner tonight, but we're going to keep the show going with what we told you we're going to discuss. But before we get into the second part of She Found Her Siblings, I just want to mention about a man that we're all, well, I shouldn't say all, but some of us are recognizing today, and Real Talk Live is also recognizing Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., and who was born as Michael King Jr. in 1929 on January 15th, and of course we always celebrate his birthday that Monday following his birthday. He died April 4th, 1968, but let's talk about him just a little bit. He was an American Baptist minister, an activist. He was the most visible spokesman and leader in the American civil rights movement from 1955 until his assassination in 1969. He was renamed after German reformer Martin Luther, and that came from his father. King advanced civil rights through nonviolence and civil disobedience, inspired by his Christian beliefs and the nonviolent activism of Mahatma Gandhi. He was the son of the early civil rights activist and minister Martin Luther King Sr. He participated in many marches for blacks for the right to vote, desegregation, labor rights, and other basic civil rights. He led the 1955 Montgomery bus boycott and later became the president of the South Christian Leadership Conference. And as president of the South Christian Leadership Conference, he led the unsuccessful Albany movement in Albany, Georgia, and helped organize some of the nonviolent 1963 protests in Birmingham, Alabama. King helped organize the 1963 March on Washington, and that's where he delivered the famous I Have a Dream speech on the steps of the Lincoln Memorial. He became under the radar of J. Edgar Hoover, who was the director of the FBI at the time. From 1963, Hoover talked about, all of his extramarital affairs, reported everything to the government officials, and they even had threatening mail delivered to Mr. King. And then he believed that this was their way of getting him to commit suicide. He witnessed his father. His father was an activist. He witnessed his father stand up against segregation. He witnessed his father being called a boy and standing up letting him know that his son was a boy, but he was a man. And from his father is where he learned that he would never accept not being treated equally. So watching his father stand up and be an activist and lead marches himself, that put a lot of courage into the young King. Martin Luther King was very smart. I don't know if you knew it, but he attended Morehouse when he was about 15 years old. From there, he went to Crozier Theological Seminary because he decided at 18 to be a minister. Finished that degree in 1951, and he went to Boston University at the age of 25 in 1954. That's when he became a pastor of the Dexter Avenue Baptist Church in Montgomery, Alabama. And then he received his degree, his PhD degree, on June 5th, 1955. And like I said, he, had many marches, sit-ins. He even went to prison for what he believed in. He was attacked at knife point. And, I did a paper on him when I was in college. And the focus was not on what he did as far as for civil rights. The focus that everybody wanted to point at when I did my paper, presented my paper, was the fact that he was a womanizer, allegedly smoked and drank and, did everything that was bad, that they considered bad, is what, they wanted to focus on. And just like we do today, we try not to see the good in what people do. We always try to, focus on the bad things that they're doing. But see, we cannot negate what Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. stood for. We cannot negate his power, his bravery, his courage. We cannot negate the fact that he was not, as far as trying to be racist, but he was trying to bring equality to everybody. And I always say, you know, I notice a lot of times when we embrace our ethnicity, when we embrace our heritage, our ancestry, we as black people get pointed at and get treated, you know, in a manner where we should not embrace who we are. But me embracing who I am doesn't mean that I'm a racist. It doesn't mean that I don't love other race or ethnicities. It doesn't mean that. What it means that I know my foundation. I know now that I am truly an African American. I know that my heritage is over 90% African. I know where I'm from. I'm in love with being who I am and not wanting any of that means I don't love someone else who doesn't look like me. I only treat people the way that they treat me. It doesn't matter how you look. You get the treatment that you give, or I'll just walk away from you. So I just want to encourage everybody to let's stop all the hatred, the unnecessary racism, the down talking, the backbiting that we do amongst the races. Because, I mean, if we think about it, and I know some people don't even realize that's what they do. But a lot of times when things happen, we want to know what race were they? When someone get killed, what race was he or she? Or somebody gets sick, what race was he or she? It doesn't make it better for me if it's not a black person, because that mother still hurts that her baby is gone. And that family is still damaged because their loved one got sick with COVID and passed on. Race is not it's not a factor, it's a non-factor. It's the love. And we cannot forget to love one another regardless of what our race is, and fight always for equality. And thank you so much for listening to that. So we're going to move on with our show, because this is a special edition. I'm going to go ahead and introduce to you guys my sister, the one that I met back in August. Her name is Octavia Lisa Randall. Come on, Octavia. She missed her shout cue, y'all. Come on and sit here beside me.
What's up, sister?
How are you?
Blessed by the best.
Yeah, always, always. So I just want to introduce you to everybody. Hi, everybody. I told you we look alike. I'm just dark, she's light, so we like salt and pepper. So, Octavia, tell me, what made you connect with us? What made you reach out? What happened? Tell us the story. Tell them the story.
Well, first of all, I was trying to find out if I had any siblings out there. Because, you know, one of the things I always wanted was sisters. And so I decided to do a DNA. Okay. And I see a young lady who has a number that's high up there. And I'm saying, this young lady, oh, I stayed up all night watching that number and studying DNA, how they do DNA numbers and how your relationships is with that person. And come to find out she was my sister.
But you were actually not looking for a new family.
No. You
were looking for your family from your father that you was raised believing that was your.
That was my father. Yeah, because one of the things was, I'm quite sure a lot of people have seen me. My dad was one of the first people to have a compassion release. He had cancer, and he was incarcerated, and Don Scott and the lawyer came out and helped to have him released so that he can come home and die peacefully. So I just wanted to know if he had any other children out there. And when I did the DNA test, you know, some truth had to come out. He was my oldest brother's father, but not mine.
Okay, I see. Okay, so that DNA, Dana,
Dana, yes.
Dana brought it all
Dana
to
don't
a head. Dana brought it to a head. So, what did you do once you realized the numbers of our sister matched yours? What did you do?
I called my mother and spoke with her. But what I wanted to do was get a name of the father.
Oh, okay.
So I went through Facebook.
She went stalking y'all.
I did. I'm like a private investigator. Let me tell you, that's one thing about us women. When we get deep.
So you stalked Arnette's page.
I did absolutely. And I was looking, and then when I saw Happy Father's Day, I said, oh, bingo,
Okay.
that's it. So and I asked my mother, and one thing about my mother, she was true. She said yes.
Did you look when you saw him?
I couldn't see myself in him though.
You couldn't see yourself in him.
I couldn't see myself in him. I saw myself in my dad that passed away. You know.
Did you? Oh, they say if you feed them long enough, they look like it.
Hey.
That's what. So once you talked to your mother and she said yes, and then what did you do?
That's when I reached out. You know, or at least she really wasn't checking Ancestry.com.
Mm-hmm.
So, me being the stalker that I am, I went to Facebook to see who her siblings were.
Okay.
And I saw you,
Mm-hmm.
and I said, oh man, I look like her. I smile, because we do that side smile, just like when we pose, we like,
Yeah.
and I said, I'm going to reach out. And I texted you, and I waited. I even sent Arlise a message. I sent Lil Robert a message.
So were you nervous? You weren't nervous when you texted me?
I was grieving,
Mm-hmm.
but that's the thing about God. What came into my mind was that weeping may endure for a night, but joy come in the morning, because all those times I was saying, I wish I had a sister, God would just say, hold on, your time is coming. And even though I was grieving, he brought joy to me, not with just one sister, but with 3 sisters and another brother.
And like I had mentioned before, you had a purpose, and you still have a purpose. You have many purposes, actually. But you had a purpose to be there for the man you thought that was your father. That was one of your purposes. Absolutely. To be there for him, to take care of him, make sure that he was okay. Until God called him home, and you fulfilled that purpose, and then God gave you your heart's desire.
Absolutely.
God rewarded you because you were obedient. I can't see it any other way.
Right.
Why it would take 47 years for you to find your siblings, other than the fact that God had a purpose and everything was due in His perfect timing.
Oh, and let me tell you, and God kept us close.
Yeah, He did.
He absolutely kept us close, because we did not know that we was in the same Girl Scout troop until we talked.
Right.
Our sons played football together, not knowing they was first cousins.
That's right. And
walking on the field together, and we at the football game, not even knowing my sisters down the other end of the bleachers. Cheering on.
Cheering for those two, actually.
Yeah, absolutely. And
and see, I've been overseas. I've been in the military. Korea. I went to Hawaii. I mean, I've been all over the place, and I ended up right back here, right in time for her to find out that she had other siblings. So it all worked together for the good. And I can't say that 47 years was too long, because I believe that it was just in God's plan.
Absolutely.
And you had things that you had to do, and we had things that we had to do. Mother and our father were divorced at that time, so it made it so much easier for us to connect.
Come together, yes.
So what do you think about your siblings, your new siblings?
Let me tell you, especially you, we too much alike. We have that that classy hood.
Y'all know better than that.
Yeah, okay. See, she out those outspoken crazy.
They know.
And I'm that silent, watch out crazy. I do that sneak. But no, actually, I was surprised, because we have a lot in common.
Yeah.
You know, I'm a big Nollywood movie watcher.
And so am
And
I.
come to find out, she is also.
Love them Africans, baby.
Oh, yes. You know.
Love them. Love them Africans.
What I love about it is the tradition that they have.
Yeah.
That the respect that they show, that they have to show with their siblings and stuff. You know, you respect the oldest, and you know, and everything is just, the culture is beautiful.
It really is. You know, when I look at it, and so, but let me take it back. Before we knew that was actually our heritage, because I would just be like, I am American. That's how I used to identify myself. I'm American, you know. But then when I got that ancestry and the heritage and all that percentage and stuff, I'm like, okay, I truly am African. I mean, I'm really, really black. You know, I'm really African, you know. And so
I got a little
was
European
already,
with mine,
yeah, she
so
got, yeah.
You know.
She look different. I'm much more than she is. But I embraced it way before I knew about it. I was in love with Africa way before then.
Yeah.
And so to find out that this was truly my heritage kind of answered some questions of why I was so attracted to that continent. You know, and it just works. It's amazing how things just work and fall in together. It's amazing, but it's God. We know what it is. And you know, I never really, at one time, I didn't want to go there, but now I can't wait to go over there and see this home that really I wouldn't be at home in anymore. You know, I'm not at home at my own home, but I do want to visit Africa. So, go ahead.
I just kind of want to speak on the, you know, earlier when you were saying about color, race, and everything.
Mm-hmm.
I just wanted to speak, you know, to say color doesn't matter, because if I'm cut red, white, or blue, brown, if they're cut, we bleed the same color blood,
Mm-hmm.
red. So we're equal with that.
Mm-hmm.
So we have to love one another. I just wanted to add on to that.
We do, and I believe that activism should not be for division. It should be to bring us together.
Right.
It should be to let other people know that, hey, wake up, because this is what's happening over here, but it's not happening over here. We need everything to be straight across the board. That's what it should be about, not dividing people.
Yeah, we can't be distracted, and that's the thing. I think they keep us distracted by keeping us divided. And that's the wrong thing, because God's word, you know, God is love, and all he asks us to do is to love one another. How big is, you know, a problem is that? How hard is it to love one another?
But you got to be careful when you say they,
Mm-hmm.
because sometimes they look just like you and me.
Absolutely.
You know,
Absolutely.
so we got to be very careful.
That's why I said
when
love
we
one
say that.
another.
Yeah, and
You know,
that's
it
the
doesn't
bottom
matter
line.
what the color is, you know. So.
Love, that's right, love one another. As long as we showing love, and we can deal with the rest of that stuff. And I'm going to definitely deal with you according to how you deal with me. You know, I'm stuck on that. You know, respect begets respect. That's the way I look at it. But back to Lisa and I. Okay, so you met our Lees, you met Jasmine, you met Robert. What were your take on him?
They're beautiful.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and I'm just like, wow. I'm still processing.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and the thing is, we are more like.
I knew you were gonna say it.
Hey,
Go ahead,
let me
get it
tell you,
out.
I have to say it, because even though we're the oldest, you know, it seems like our younger ones will put us in place. You know, they kind of more serious than we kind of like adventurous and just straight out.
Having fun, silly, like to laugh and joke all the time. I'm like, what happened to their sense of humor? Because that's where we at. And I was just so glad that she was like that, because dealing with, you know, my babies that got no sense of humor, you know, it's like, you know, so I make them laugh just a little tiny bit. But with her, we can laugh, we talk. I mean, we feel each other, so it's like now I have somebody that I can really talk to and relate with, because y'all just don't know. just like me and Barry be up here laughing and grinning and joking. That's just in my nature. You would think, well, I love and Barry get along so well, cause
you want to make people laugh. I think that makes a big difference. Laughter, oh gosh, some jokes, you know.
It's nothing like it. Listen, you guys gotta remove the sticks. You can't be so uptight all the time. Laughter, come on. You have to, isn't it? I think it's in the Bible too. I'm almost certain it's in the Bible, but don't quote me because I didn't study it. But I think laughter is in the Bible. But was it laughter like medicine? Which one is one? Isn't that in the Bible?
It is the best
Come on,
medicine.
Deacon.
Oh, Deacon Randall.
My brother-in-law here, y'all.
Yeah,
he gonna look it up for me.
He fine too.
But it's good to laugh,
Absolutely.
and both of us we like to laugh. We don't mind being silly.
We don't look at our age, you know, because you know I'm a kid at heart. I'm gonna tell you right now, Encanto. I might not be saying it right. That's one of my favorite movies of this year. I think I done watched it 5 times. So family, sit down with your children. It has diversity. It shows.
Is it Nigerian?
No,
Girl, don't let me talk about that. Everybody want that Disney movie. No, Nigerian.
You see what I'm saying?
Listen, if I turn on the movie and the movie don't say my love, I'm turning it right
They ain't sucking their teeth.
Or they saying, my God will punish you. They're not saying that.
Or fiend.
I'm turning that movie off because all I watch is Nigerian movies.
But see, I got kids. I got young kids.
That's true. That's
you
true.
know, like I said, a good family movie, and at the end, it's basically telling you to come together as a family. So it has a good.
And see, that was another one of her purposes. You know, that family, bringing kids together. You know, taking care of children. That's another one of her purposes. She'll share, I'm sure, share that with you guys later because we do plan to break off and just have our own individual bonding sessions and letting you in on some of the topics that we're going to discuss as we learn about each other. But I will tell you that we are a lot alike, and it's almost amazing because nobody's like me. You know, nobody was like me until I met her. And I mean, we argue, and our arguments maybe last a few seconds.
And we back on track.
And then we back on track. Because it's like, we really don't care anyway. You know. Was I wrong about that?
No, it does in the Bible.
It's in the Bible, y'all, I told you.
Proverbs 17:22.
Proverbs 17:22.
A joyful heart is good medicine.
A joyful heart is good medicine.
But a broken spirit dries up the bones.
But a broken spirit dries up the bones. See, I remember the Bible.
And you see, I'm juicy, so you know.
They don't call me Minister
I'm
Laugh or
happy.
nothing, but I know laughter is like medicine.
That's right.
And we can't be around here moping all the time, wondering about what people has done to us and, you know, what's their next.
You gotta let that go.
Let it all
You
go.
have to
Either
let
you're
it
going to
go.
deal with them or you're not going to deal with them. But you don't hold on to the hurt or the disappointment and laugh sometimes. So with Lisa, I want to ask you this. How was your mother? You know, how is she coping?
I think it was a little hard for her because, you know, I think when you're young, you don't really know what you know, you're getting into, you're out there. Because I've been out there, you know. But I think she just wanted to be careful not to hurt anyone more so, you know, with the story coming out and being told and everything. But the good thing was that you and Sister So-and-so,
My mama.
yep, yes indeed, made it so, you know, comfortable because you said, look, you know, it's about these two.
Yeah, and see,
You know.
what we didn't tell you is, when we first met Sister So-and-so, y'all, the weather lady, y'all know, my mama, she was with me, and she actually told Lisa to call her mother down there. And they talked, and, you know, It was beautiful actually because her mother came in, apologized, and my mom was like, "Don't worry about it. You know, it happened 40-some years ago. We're not gonna worry about that." And my mom was just so amazed at how well we got along and how much we looked alike. And then my mom, you know, let me say in her words, this is what she feels. When you're young, when you marry young, there's still going to be some things that you're going to do. Your husband is probably still going to try to sow his wild oats. Doesn't mean he don't love you, but he's going to do things that you're not going to be pleased with. That's why you have to have a forgiving spirit. You got to be more prone to forgive, especially when you're young and get married. Don't just drop everything. And she, you know, she's not surprised that her husband has another child because she knew who her husband was. She knew what type of man she married, and she just wasn't surprised. And she always prepared us. I told you that. She always said, if somebody say that they're your sister or brother, don't be surprised because they're probably telling the truth. And so we were ready. I mean, we never thought it would happen, but we were ready. I almost missed it, y'all, because I'm getting close to 50, so I almost missed it, but we got it. And
Yes,
but Mama was right. Mama was right, and she has such a forgiving heart. And I mean, you know, what an example of a classy woman, you know, to not talk bad about her mother or my father or our father. You know, my mother would not talk bad about them. She understands that this is what young folks do. And plus, the fact that I get that, but I know what I did when I was young. So how can I point fingers and be mad at my daddy?
And I'm pleading the fifth on when I was young, so we're gonna.
I'm a plead. Well, I wrote a book, so you want to know what I did?
I'm still waiting on that book. Just
Buy
so
the
you
book
know.
for $15.
I hope you got it in your car so I can get it on my way.
I
out.
do have a
Okay.
copy, but you can buy the book. But the thing is, I did a lot of stuff that I shouldn't have done at a young age in my early 20s.
Mm-hmm.
So how can I be mad at her mama for doing what we all do?
Mm-hmm.
We all do it. Some of us just don't get caught. Some of us just don't have babies.
And I have to also, excuse me,
Go ahead.
with our dad, he showed a respect thing because what he did was he called your mom
Mm-hmm.
and apologized
Mm-hmm.
and apologized to y'all as well.
He did.
And that's a man. That's a someone that can stand strong and say, I was wrong. I'm sorry.
Especially when he didn't have to.
Right.
He did not have to apologize to us because he didn't cheat on me.
But that's a respect.
You
But it was
know
a
what I'm saying?
respectful thing.
It was.
You know.
He was very respectful
And he
about
came
it.
straight out to see me. And so
Mhm.
and I was looking to the right, I think, or to the left, and he said, "You look just like me."
And one thing I told her, I said, Daddy can't give you a lot, but he sure gonna love you.
Yeah, absolutely.
And he would give you much love. So, and I appreciate it because he's showing all his children love, all his grandkids. I mean, he good with showing that love, man. I'm gonna tell you. So, I mean, I appreciate that alone. He's a good dad. I mean, he could have dropped us off by the wayside and been like, okay, I'm your daddy. Peace. But he didn't. He didn't. So he always said, I love you. I don't care how many tantrums I throw, because I'm like I said, I'm almost 50 years old, but I would throw some good tantrums, baby. Good. You'll be thinking, is she a little baby girl? Because I can throw some good tantrums, honey. And it don't matter what kind of tantrums I go, my daddy called me back and say, I love you, baby.
Yeah. Oh, smile.
Yeah, he smiled. So listen, we're not going to tarry no more on your time. What we're going to do is we're going to cut this show, and we're going to just start coming to you every once in a while, talking to you about what we're doing, what we're going through, because our goal is to help someone else that's in this situation, because that ancestry DNA is rapid.
Yes.
People learning about their family members all the time, and we can be an example on how to bond
Absolutely.
with something that's strange or something that's new. That's what we want to do. We want to show people how they should act and how they and what they shouldn't do. you know, because you got a lot of people gonna wanna bump heads and be mad about what your parents did, but you can't
And it
be
don't
mad
change
about it.
anything.
It changes nothing. That person is still gonna be your sister or your brother
cousin
or your
yeah.
cousin. So it changes absolutely nothing. So we're not gonna act ignorant. We're gonna show love, and we're gonna show you how to love through our relationship. And then one day, I'm pretty sure we'll get our other two sisters up here, but I know one of them just blatantly said she ain't doing it. So, but that's
But it's okay.
that's my girl,
Yeah.
you know.
She's
So
still our sister. It don't change nothing.
no,
You
because
know?
we know she wasn't gonna do it. We knew she wasn't gonna do it. So we're gonna try though to get them up here. And I just want y'all to know that we appreciate you here at Real Talk Live with Barry and Arnette. Share this video. If you have any questions that you want to ask me and Lisa, go ahead and ask us. You can put it under this video, and we'll take it and move it to the video that we do. Any questions you want to ask Barry and myself, ask us, and we would do our best to answer it on the shows. We need y'all to be interactive because see, we're going to start doing some new things on this show. Excuse me, and we need for you guys to participate. So thank y'all so much for joining Real
Thank
Talk
you.
Live with
Nice
Barry
meeting
and
you.
Arnette. Thank you for welcoming my sister. And I am just going to call it adieu. May y'all have a blessed and wonderful week.
And also, I just want to say, I haven't forgotten about you, Peter.
A matter of fact, go ahead and give you a little shout out. She wants to get some shout outs. Give some shout outs. Go ahead.
And get some shout outs. I just want to say, I have my children, I have 7 children, 2 which are adopted. So, love ended up with a big family of nieces and nephews and stuff. So, basically, I'm just, on our next show, we'll give out shout out names and so forth. But I just wanted Peter to know we haven't forgot about you, baby sister.
Tell her who she is.
And,
Who she is.
okay, Angel, I call her Angel. She, you know, that's who I always call my sister coming up. And we look just alike. You put us in the same room also. That's why I said don't have to come from the same genes to look alike. But she's a good girl, and you know I love her to pieces. So I just wanted to let her know. Thank you for being my sister, and I love you, baby.
All right. Thank you, guys.